There's a small episode in the Parsha that was one of the greatest tragedies that befell the Jewish nation. Moshe Rabbeinu hits the rock. And because of that, he cannot come into the land of Israel. Had he led us into the land of Israel, it would have been forever. We would have been on a whole different level. We would never have forgotten what we're about. The tragedy of the whole First Temple era. The First Temple era, there were open miracles. You walked into the temple, everything was miracle. And everything was clear. All the secrets were out. Yet people missed it. And ultimately was destroyed. That would never have happened had Moshe Rabbeinu gone into Eretz Yisrael. The whole tragedy of Jewish history. For most of our history, we haven't been on our land. We've been the unwelcome guests of every civilization on earth, pretty much. They've scorned us. They've discriminated against us. They've killed us. They've tortured us. All of this because Moshe hit the rock. What was so terrible about hitting the rock? Hashem tells him, speak to the rock, it'll give water. Moshe hits the rock. And the pasuk says it openly. It would have been a greater Kiddush Hashem. If you hit the rock and it gives water, that's one thing. If you speak to the rock and it gives water, wow. For that difference, Moshe Rabbeinu cannot come into Eretz Yisrael, and all of Jewish destiny is changed. How are we to understand something like that? Okay, it's Moshe Rabbeinu. Perhaps more is expected of him. Still, what are we talking about? Yeah, it would have been so much more effective had he spoken to the rock. A different level of Kiddush Hashem makes all the difference. This is wild. You know, the Parsha begins with the red heifer, with the Parah Aduma. Shlomo HaMelech said, Amarti achkoma v'rechoka mimeni. This is, I thought I'd understand it, but it's too difficult to understand. I think this Parsha, the Parsha of Mei Meriva, of hitting the stone, hitting the rock, that's more of a mystery than Parah Aduma. I guess we have no choice other than understand that everything is about Kiddush Hashem. Certainly a leader. Certainly Moshe Rabbeinu. His responsibility is Kiddush Hashem. If Hashem defines the Kiddush Hashem necessary, speak to a rock. Let the whole nation watch as this rock starts producing enough water for everyone and their livestock. As part of their whole miraculous existence there in the desert. That'll do it. And instead Moshe hits the rock. Okay, still miraculous. Go hit a rock and see if you get water. Not the same. This is finer. Speaking to the rock is finer. It's finer. It's a different kind of Kiddush Hashem. It's not hitting the rock. It's speaking to the rock. It's finer. And that's a different level of Kiddush Hashem. And if he didn't do it, he failed. In the eyes of Hashem, he failed. We're not Moshe Rabbeinu. Talking about the different levels of Kiddush Hashem, it's a finer one. Yeah, that's also something to think about. Leadership involves becoming finer. That too. But the real message is understand. What we are about is Kiddush Hashem. Without it, we fail. What we are here for is to bring the name of Hashem into the world. The creator, the sustainer. He who cares, he who loves, he who is there for us. It's Hashem, it's his values. This is what we're here for. And if we fall short, it's tragic. The Jewish nation's role in humanity is to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim. To bring Hashem into a world that was barbaric. And indeed we did. But a world that today is far from understanding what morality is, accepting that there's an objective truth, understanding that it's not a free-for-all, but we have obligations. That's the role of the Jewish people. Most of Jewry itself not only doesn't understand its role, but sees these concepts as being foreign. Objective truth is bigotry. The few of us who are left, our focus in life has got to be Kiddush Hashem. Kiddush Hashem, first and foremost, in building who we are. Our very beings are to be a Kiddush Hashem. And not to hide. That old image of the tzaddik mister, the hidden tzaddik. He cannot exist today. If he's hidden, he's not a tzaddik in this day and age. It is everyone's role to go public. There's so much to teach the world. It's all about Kiddush Hashem. We can't afford to fail again. We failed too many times. The Jewish nation is falling apart. It's disintegrating. We don't know how many Jews there are in the world. So many refuse to be called Jewish. We have no choice. The focus of one's life has got to be Kiddush Hashem. Kiddush Hashem in what we become. Kiddush Hashem in what we do. Kiddush Hashem in everything we do. And Kiddush Hashem in what we dedicate our lives to. There is no choice. For generations, they tried annihilating us physically. We're still here. Spiritually, we are disintegrating. There's no choice. Every one of us, in everything we do, our goals in life have to be the various forms of Kiddush Hashem. That's what we stand for, that's what we are, and that's the way we're going to live. We've got to share the gift of Judaism with every Jew, whether he's willing to be called Jewish or not, wherever he is.